our society has taught us to follow a certain path and you'll be successful. And so many of us have gotten to that top of our career or to 20 years down, with all this experience, and we've tried to figure out, like, gosh, am I going to throw it all away and change and do something different? And as you're considering an Encore career, or as you've already taken that leap of faith, I would just say that I had a moment where I really felt guilty. I was like, gosh, I have it all. I should be really happy, but why am I feeling like something's missing?
The 3 kind of tips that I can give you in terms of getting in touch with your passion is fill in the blank statements. I love asking questions as a coach. So 3 that you can work with are a fill in the blank of, if I wasn't afraid, I would. That's one. Another is, what did I love to do when I was 5 years old? And just start listing that. Or 10 years old. For me, that was horses. It's always been helping people as well. And the other, these can be kind of morbid, but it's what would I do if I had 1 week left to live? And then the other one is also, I'm on my deathbed, what did I regret? And so you can start listing those too.
Tackling a budget on a personal level is really the first step that anyone should take before gauging, am I in position to go forward with a business venture? And the way that I go through that process with my clientele is we sit there and say, let's look at 2 different categories of what you spend. You've got fixed expenses that are kind of your core expenses, are going to be the same, usually recurring month over month. Then you've got your variable expenses, which are more non-recurring, unexpected potentially, but things that are always going to be there. Some of them are discretionary. And you have to be conscious of what those are. Usually what I'll do is I'll go through the fact we want to look at a wider swath of time, at least 12 months, and look at those things, because someone will say, well, okay, I had an unforeseen surgery, or I had a issue with my house or my car, and that's probably not going to happen again. Well, it is. It's going to happen again in some other form or fashion. It's going to cost you money. So you break that out over a course of a year, divvy it up month over month, and you get an idea about what your target expenses are.
There are a lot of people who have Encore careers without starting a business. So you can certainly have an Encore career by either going to another company or creating a new path within the company that you're already in. And a lot of the people I work with in executive coaching, which is mostly, not exclusively, but mostly women in very senior level leadership positions, and some companies make it very easy for you to switch gears. If the studio, the business I was in television, had made that easy, I might be there today. It did not. I couldn't get off the track I was on, so I simply left, which turned out to be a great thing. But I think it's what Jeremy's talking about, but also there's a process of figuring out 3 questions I ask people, and Kate's really get to sort of your heart and soul. Some of the business questions too to add on top of that are, what are your skills and strengths, which in this room probably everybody knows at this point. What are your passions? But the third one, and Jeremy touched on this, is what does the marketplace want from you? Whether that's internally, the company that you're in, or other corporations that you're looking at, or going out and starting to sell your own products and services. What do they want from you?
It's hard to start a business. So obviously being super organized and well thought out, planning ahead is very important. You will need some legal assistance probably at certain phases of starting a new career or company if you start your own company. Usually at the outset, you'll need corporate assistance. And in fact, Sharon Seifert, who's the general counsel of the fund, who is a former colleague of mine, is a corporate lawyer. I am not. I do labor and employment. So people like Sharon can help you set up your entity properly, make sure you're following the corporate formalities that you have to follow so that you preserve the protections of a legal entity, which is really critical. You won't need a labor and employment attorney until you start to hire. And not every lawyer is created equal. So shop around, don't go with the first person you meet, and you look for assistance that fits you, okay? You won't need DLA Piper to start a new company. You'll need somebody probably local who can get you started and can also issue spot in other areas so that when you get into those other areas, if you have intellectual property issues and things of a different nature, that person can get you in the right hands. Because I would also be wary of generalists, and maybe there are some good generalists who say, gosh, I know what I know and I know what I don't know and I'll help you, but really shopping for the right assistance I think is critical, and making sure that that line item on your budget isn't too high.